So hello everyone, I hope you all are fine. So in this today's video we'll be discussing about another topic of modern history, and that is important, Gadar party and Komagata Maru incident. Komagata Maru was a ship. Okay, there was a ship incident happened during the Indian national movement, and Gadar party also. Both are like outsiders movement. Both Gadar party was established in San Francisco, USA, and Komagata Maru incident also happened in Canada. And then actually Komagata Maru is a save that started from Japan, sorry, Hong Kong, China, then went to Canada, but they were not allowed to deport, and they deported to India. Okay, so this was the incident under the British influence. Okay, so we'll be discussing that only. ठीक है, चलो let's start. देखो, गदर पार्टी origin and background let's discuss. गदर पार्टी was founded in 1913. अब देखो 1913 में कहाँ पे, यूएसए, नॉट इन इंडिया. Okay, now we went to USA. We were discussing Indian modern Indian history and international movement, but some incident happened outside country also that linked to our Indian national movement. Okay, so Gadar party was founded in 1913 USA by Indian immigrants, mainly Punjabis, Sikhs, Hindus and Muslims, who faced racial discrimination. देखो racial discrimination तो आता ही है if you are from different religion. I feel that personally. Okay, देखो discrimination तो आएगा ही, either it color, religion and all. And Indians were like Indians are Hindus mostly, 79%, Britishers Christian mostly. So discrimination तो आएगा ही. And as well as Britishers were bright in color, white in color, and Indians mostly were that time like not black but dark in color. Okay, so discrimination तो आएगा ही, that was in blood. So and mostly they call, देखो सिख हिंदू मुस्लिम, बट ब्रिटिशर्स और यूएसए वाला जो सिटीजन्स था, यूएसए वाला, they call them Hindu. They don't care they're from Sikh community or Muslim community or other community, they call them Hindu. It's a discrimination. Okay, Hindus means like dirty, dark in color. Okay, so they call them Hindu. So discrimination. So for this type of discrimination there was a anger, and they founded a party called Gadar party. Okay, so who faced the racial discrimination in North America. ठीक है, अब देखो key founder was Lala Hardayal Singh, and along with Sohan Singh, Kartar Singh Saraf, and there were some leaders also. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so mostly you remember Lala Hardayal Singh. So कहाँ पे गदर पार्टी, देखो यहाँ पे क्या आपको पढ़ना है कि गदर पार्टी कहाँ पे established हुआ था, USA. When 1930. Why? Because they were mostly immigrants. And आपको पता है immigrants के साथ अच्छा व्यवहार नहीं होता है. If some Bangladeshi comes to India, you won't treat them well. If Sri Lankans come to India, immigrant, you won't treat them well. Okay, so और ये लोग हिंदू था, Hindu in terms of Sikhs, Muslim and Hindu, but Britishers call them Hindu to show them a discrimination. ठीक है, so that's why Gadar party came into the action. Okay, headquarter was San Francisco. ठीक है, अब देखो ये लोग करते क्या थे, आइडियोलॉजी क्या था, कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस फ्रॉम द ब्रिटिश रूल, नॉट डोमिनियन स्टेटस. अच्छा, बाद में हम लोग इन द लास्ट स्लाइड विल बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट व्हाई दे सेट अप देयर हेडक्वार्टर इन यूएसए. ओके, व्हाट वाज द रीजन, व्हाई नॉट इन इंडिया. यू मस्ट बी थिंकिंग इंडिया में भी तो कर सकते थे, इंडिया में भी रिवॉल्ट कर सकते थे, तो व्हाई नॉट इन इंडिया. We'll discuss that also. Okay, so complete independence from the British rule, not dominion status, armed revolution, ideology of the Gadar party, secular. देखो, this is an important thing. Back then, being a secular is like what can I say? It was like out of the blue, secular, because back then there was no secularism idea and all. Okay, so Gadar party was secular, influenced by, why? Because influenced by Karl Marx, Lenin, Irish Revolution, and like 1857 revolts. These are their ideology, or these are their influenced by the Karl Marx ideology, Lenin ideology. Okay, communism ideology, okay, Irish revolution and 1857 revolt. Okay, their slogan was Angrez Raj ka Dushman. It means they are the enemy of British Empire. In English, if we translate, they are the enemy of British Empire. Gadar. Gadar means revolt. Okay, so what is the topic? Gadar party. Gadar means revolt. Okay, Gadar मचा देंगे. In Punjabi we say Gadar मचा देंगे. Gadar means like तहस नहस कर देंगे. We'll do this and that. ठीक है, revolt. So they published a newspaper called Gadar in multiple languages: Punjabi, Urdu, हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश. ओके, कहाँ पे? सैन फ्रांसिस्को से ही होता था. ठीक है ये सब. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट देखो. अब देखो व्हाई इट इमर्ज्ड. अब तो थोड़ा सा तो समझ में आया था कि रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हुआ देयर, बट दैट वाज नॉट ओनली द रीजन. दैट वाज द रीजन बट नॉट ओनली. देखो, रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इन यूएस एंड कनाडा वाज ए ब्रिटिश टेरिटरी दैट टाइम. ठीक है, तो इंडियंस treated as a coolie. Komagata Maru incident, we'll see next. Okay, what was Komagata Maru incident? Global anti-colonial wave. Irish nationalism came, Mexican revolution came, Russian revolution came. So all of this revolution inspired Indians also. Okay, and failure of the moderate and constitutional politics in India. Moderates were failing to achieve anything. Okay, so and Surat split हो गया था, Montemiller reform आ गया था. So these all are the combined reason to make a party outside India. Okay, so main reason discrimination. ठीक है, and then Komagata Maru incident आ गया था. Then आपका anti-colonial movement, this was also an important thing. ठीक है, that's why they set up a party outside India. What was their ideology? Armed revolution, complete independence. ठीक है, अब चलो see the next slide. Role क्या था? After making the party, what was their role? Okay, so you all know that 1913 में party establish हो गया, Gadar party, and after 1 year there was World War I. Okay, 1914 में World War I start हो गया था. Now they saw the World War as an opportunity. क्या किया ना, उन्होंने प्लान बनाया, यूज ब्रिटिश वॉर इन्वॉल्वमेंट. ब्रिटिश अभी दे आर इन्वॉल्व इन द वॉर, सो दे करेगा ना, क्या करेगा, इंसाइट यूनिटी इन इंडियन आर्मी ना थोड़ा सा रिवोल्ट करेगा. ठीक है, दे विल पेनिट्रेट इन इंडियन आर्मी एंड दे विल मेक रिवोल्ट. ओके, कोऑर्डिनेट विद जर्मनी. They will coordinate with Germany because Germany was the enemy of British that time. ठीक है, that's called Hindu-German conspiracy. Now you must be understanding why Hindu, because they used to call Hindu as that they are showing discrimination. Who? White people in Western coast. ठीक है, so Hindu-German conspiracy. Thousands of Gadarites reunited to Punjab to start the armed revolt in 1915. Okay, plan. Important conspiracy, they made conspiracies, but important is Lahore conspiracy case. We'll see in the next slide what is Lahore conspiracy and what is Firozpur mutiny attempt. Okay, mutiny attempt. ठीक है, but British intelligence infiltrate the plan. British intelligence को ना पता चल गया था कि they were doing something. Okay, और वो लोग उसको पकड़ लिए थे. ठीक है, की revolutionaries करतार सिंह सराफ, देन आपका रासबिहारी बोस, दीज आर द की रिवोल्यूशनरीज. अब देखो व्हाट वाज देयर कंस्पिरेसी एंड व्हाट वाज देयर प्लान. ठीक है, प्लान तो समझ में आ गया. दे वांटेड टू यूज वर्ल्ड वॉर वन एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू ओवरथ्रो द ब्रिटिशर्स. ठीक है, एंड दे वांटेड टू कोऑर्डिनेट विद जर्मन्स. ठीक है, अब देखो ये दो कंस्पिरेसी क्या था, लाहौर कंस्पिरेसी एंड फिरोजपुर म्यूटिनी. देखो 1915 में ना they wanted to do pan India military move revolt. हमने देख ही लिया था कि 1857 में सिपाही म्यूटिनी हुआ था. Like that they wanted to try. Okay, so targeted Indian soldiers in Lahore, Firozpur and Meerut. Aim, seize the arms and overthrow the British rule. देखो mostly in British army, Britishers ना they recruited Indians as a soldier. So if we can make revolt in the Indian army that worked for the Britishers, then हम तो British rule को overthrow कर सकते थे. Okay, key link was Raspberry Bose coordinated from India. Headquarters San Francisco. Raspberry Bose coordinated from India. What happened? क्या हुआ ना, ब्रिटिश स्पाइस, जो ब्रिटिश का खुफिया लोग था ना, स्पाई, infiltrate the plan. They got to know about the plan. Date of revolt also leaked. अब ये सब पता चल जाएगा ब्रिटिशर्स को तो पकड़ पकड़ तो मार ही देगा ना सबको. So leaders arrested and before execution. Leaders got arrested before execution. Result, Lahore conspiracy case trial, because they wanted to revolt in Lahore, Firozpur. So Lahore conspiracy case. Okay, समझ में आ गया, सबको मार दिया. Many people got hanged. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड देखते हैं. Why, क्यों फेलियर हो गया था? ब्रिटिश इंटेलिजेंस पेनिट्रेशन. ब्रिटिश इंटेलिजेंस बहुत अच्छा था. अभी क्या होता है ब्रिटिश इंटेलिजेंस? MI6. इंडिया का क्या है इंटेलिजेंस फॉर आउटसाइड? आउटसाइड इट्स R&W, रॉ. ओके, इनसाइड IB, NIA, these are the intelligence agencies. ओके, ठीक है, चलो. सो लैक ऑफ कोऑर्डिनेशन, poor arms supply, overestimate the army support. Okay, then premature exposure of the plan. They were like immature था ना, premature हो गया था और they were doing the first time. ठीक है, this kind of thing. तो coordinate अच्छा नहीं था. Main thing was there was no coordination. ठीक है, hundreds arrested, many executed and transported for life. ठीक है, failure हो गया था plan. अब फीचर क्या था? इफ वी डिस्कस गदर पार्टी, इंटरनेशनल बेस्ड, यस. बेस्ड इन अब्रॉड. मिलिटेंट, यस. दे बिलीव इन आर्म रेवोल्यूशन, मार के भगाएंगे. सेकुलर, यस. नो रिलीजियन डिवाइडेड, हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, एनीवन कैन जॉइन. आइडियोलॉजी, अर्ली सोशलिस्ट इन्फ्लुएंस, बिकॉज they were following Karl Marx, okay, Lenin, okay, and later on this idea adopted by Bhagat Singh, famous. देखो भगत सिंह को ना, I feel like Bhagat Singh got murdered by the capitalist of India that time. Though Bhagat Singh was hanged by Britishers, but Bhagat Singh could be saved. Sometimes we say Gandhi didn't save, but I feel like Bhagat Singh was killed by or murdered by capitalists. They influenced the Britishers to hang before the date. Okay, why? Because Bhagat Singh ideology was not to make a capitalist country. Bhagat Singh wanted to make a country where everything will be equal, everyone will be equal, and that was harmful for capitalist, पूंजीपति, businessmen. ठीक है, चलो. So ideology आ गया. Present base, strong base, peasant base from Punjab. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया. चलो, significance in Indian freedom. क्या था इन लोगों का significance? क्या था? First major overseas revolutionary movement. फर्स्ट, इससे पहले नहीं हुआ था. हाँ, छोटा मोटा हुआ था, ठीक है, बट इतना बड़ा नहीं हुआ था. इंस्पायर्ड आफ्टर रिवोल्यूशनरीज, भगत सिंह, करतार सिंह सराफ, इंस्पायर्ड. भगत सिंह वाज इंस्पायर्ड. ओके, एक्सपोज्ड ब्रिटिश वर्नेबिलिटी ड्यूरिंग वर्ल्ड वॉर 1. प्रूव हो गया कि ब्रिटिशर्स, इफ दे आर एंगेज्ड इन वन वॉर, दे कांट फोकस इन इंडिया. ओके, चलो. लिंक्ड इंडियन स्ट्रगल विद ग्लोबल एंटी इंपेरियलिज्म. ठीक है, चलो अब देखते हैं. जस्ट अ सेकेंड. अच्छा, द स्लाइड वाज क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस स्ट्रेंथ. देखो ग्लोबल नेटवर्क, USA, कनाडा, जर्मन एंड जापान. देखो यहाँ पे था इन लोगों का हेडक्वार्टर एंड दिस वाज द रूट ऑफ गदर पार्टीज. वो यहाँ से जाते थे, ठीक है, थ्रू सी एंड ऑल. सो लिंक्ड आ गया था ग्लोबल नेटवर्क. आइडियोलॉजी कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस. स्ट्रेंथ था secular character, rare that time, like you can't say secularism. Okay, early vision of international revolution. So these are the strength. Weakness, lack of mass base, because that was outside, थोड़ा सा masses का कमी था. Okay, excessive dependency on army mutiny. They wanted to do army mutiny only. Okay, चलो. Poor secrecy, secret रखा नहीं गया इन लोगों से. डेट पहले पता चल गया ब्रिटिशर्स को, कब म्यूटिनी होने वाला है, कब रिवॉल्ट होने वाला है, कहाँ होने वाला है. तो पोर सीक्रेसी. ओके, इमोशनल रेडिकलिज्म ओवर स्ट्रैटेजिक प्लानिंग. दे वर टू इमोशनल, मार देंगे फेंक देंगे, बट स्ट्रैटेजिक प्लानिंग का कमी था. ठीक है, बट वी आर टू जज. ओके, वी रेस्पेक्ट देम, they were freedom fighter, but we are just discussing what was their weakness, what was their strength. Okay, but we were not the one to judge them. ठीक है, they are far better than us. चलो, why did गदर पार्टी चूज सैन फ्रांसिस्को? why? अब तो समझ में आ गया कि वहाँ पे कुछ किया, ऐसे ऐसे किया कि, बट वहाँ पे चूज क्यों किया? क्योंकि लार्जर पंजाब भी माइग्रेंट बेस, Lots of Punjabis were there. Thousands of Indian, mainly Sikhs, workers on the US West Coast faced racial discrimination there. Okay, one of the reasons, political freedom. USA allowed freedom of speech and press. तो उन्होंने एक न्यूज़पेपर चालू कर दिया था, पार्टियन न्यूज़पेपर, बिकॉज यूएसए में ना, यूएसए यूज्ड टू बी द ब्रिटिशर्स कॉलोनी, बट दैट टाइम ब्रिटिशर्स यूएसए वाज independent. So USA allowed speech freedom, speech and press, so they can carry out movement easily, press and all. ठीक है, earlier publish of गदर न्यूज़पेपर एंड होल्ड मीटिंग. ओके, वहाँ पे easy था. ठीक है, चलो अब देखते थे स्ट्रेटेजिक पोर्ट सिटी. देखो वहाँ से ना कहीं भी आ जा सकते थे क्योंकि शिप्स मिलते थे वहाँ से. ग्लोबल रिवोल्यूशनरी एनवायरनमेंट, तो वहाँ पे दे सॉ द आयरिश मूवमेंट, रशियन मूवमेंट, मैक्सिकन मूवमेंट. ओके, सो दिस आइडियोलॉजी इन्फ्लुएंस देम, सो दैट्स व्हाई दे चूज सैन फ्रांसिस्को. सो मोस्टली लार्जर पंजाबी माइग्रेंट बेस देयर, लॉट्स ऑफ सिक्स वर देयर. ओके, ठीक है, चलो, एंड दे फेस द रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, दे गॉट यूनाइट, वी हैव टू मेक समथिंग. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. वाई नॉट चूज इंडिया इंस्टेड. देखो एक तो वहाँ पे था, यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं था. ब्रिटिश सर्विलेंस वॉज स्ट्रॉन्ग, sedition law was there. It's like if Britishers feel you are doing something wrong, they will arrest you. Okay, revolutionary network were already crushed in India because after 1909 they saw lots of revolutionary activities and Britishers was chasing them down. ठीक है, abroad safer planning ground. Okay, this is called revolutionary exile politics. ठीक है, चलो next. I guess it's end. Now we will be discussing Komagata Maru incident. अब देखो कोमागाटा मारू, व्हाट वाज कोमागाटा मारू. कोमागाटा मारू वाज अ शिप. अब इसका इंसिडेंट क्या था, व्हाट वाज द इंसिडेंट. चलो बैकग्राउंड देखते हैं पहले. देखो ब्रीफली ना एक बता देते हैं क्या हुआ ना. हांगकांग से मेनली, देखो देयर वाज ए पंजाबी बिजनेसमैन हु वांटेड टू गो कनाडा. सो बट देयर वाज नो शिप फ्रॉम कनाडा, इंडिया टू कनाडा डायरेक्टली. सो दे बोर्डेड फ्रॉम हांगकांग. तो हांगकांग से स्टार्ट हुआ, देन शंघाई गया, पिक्ड सम मोर पैसेंजर्स, देन जापान गया, मोर पैसेंजर, वैंकूवर, देखो कनाडा यहाँ से गया, देन वैंकूवर गया. ठीक है, वैंकूवर गया यहाँ पे, गॉट इट, वैंकूवर कनाडा में. ठीक है, चलो दिस इज यूएसए, कनाडा गया यहाँ पे. अब देखो क्या हो गया ना, वैंकूवर जाने के बाद एंट्री डिनाइड, 2 month स्टैंड ऑफ, सिर्फ वहाँ का वहाँ खड़ा ही रह गया. They were not allowed to like step down in the Canadian soil. Why? Because Canada was British territory. Okay, and Canadian government got influenced by Britishers. Okay, forced to return back to Calcutta. Then they returned back to Calcutta, and after coming Kolkata, classes like Britishers were trying to arrest. They got classes, and some people died in that incident. So क्या हुआ, एक ship start हुआ from the China. They went to Canada, but Canada didn't allow them to entry in the Canada. Okay, Canadian government under the influence of British. Okay, then they forced to set back into India. After coming India, Britishers were trying to arrest them, and then clashes with Britishers, and some people died. Okay, and this process held 6 months. देखो एक सिर्फ यहाँ से यहाँ जाया फिर आया 6 months. ठीक है, all of this. अब देखो क्या हुआ, डिटेल में देखते हैं. ठीक है, स्टेप 1, जर्नी बिगिंस. इन 1914 a wealthy Sikh businessman Baba Gurdeep Singh chartered means hired a Japanese ship named Komagata Maru. ठीक है, 376 passengers, mostly Sikh, destination Vancouver, Canada. What was the goal? Why he chartered the ship? Goal was to challenge the racist immigration law and prove Indians had equal right as Britishers. There was racism going on. So देखो ये क्या सोचा ना कि Canada is a British territory, India also British territory. So as an Indian we can go to British territory. Challenge करते हैं because there is a rule. I can go to British territory because I'm under in British territory now. India is a British territory. Okay. At that time, India was under the rule of British rule, and Canada was also part of British Empire. So legally, Indians believed that they had right to migrate. ठीक है, this was the reason. अब क्या हुआ देखो, second part. Canada refuses entry. वो वैंकूवर में गया. When the ship reached Vancouver in May 1914, they are denied. Canadian authority refused passenger to entry. They used the continuous journey law. अब कैनेडियन गवर्नमेंट क्या बोल रहा है कि ना, यू डिडंट डू द कंटिन्यूअस जर्नी, you are coming from India, so your ship should be coming from India to Vancouver directly. But that time back then there was no direct ship. Like today there was, sometimes there was no direct flight, so we do layover and all. So back then there was no direct ship from India to Canada, and Canadian government knew that, so they gave this excuse. Okay, so there was no direct ship from India to Canada. Real reason was, this was the like on paper reason, real reason, racial discrimination against the Asians. समझ में आ रहा है डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कब से आ रहा है? फॉर द 2 months पैसेंजर वेयर केप्ट ऑन द शिप, वहीं का वहीं खड़ा रहा 2 महीने तक इन द कनाडियन सी, ठीक है. गेव देम लिटिल फूड एंड वाटर. अब देखो 376 पीपल ऑन ए शिप, 2 months they were not allowed to step down in Canadian soil, giving less food and water. So their sickness, there will be sickness, there will be disease, okay, not allowed to disembarked. Okay, only 24 passengers were allowed to enter. Up 376 में 24 allowed. Okay, I don't know why, somehow maybe they had connection or something, they were allowed, or maybe they were too rich. ठीक है. अब देखो नेक्स्ट क्या होता है. Step 3, forced return. अब denied entry, so they came back to Calcutta. Step 4, Bojboj class. Bojboj क्या है? There is a place in Calcutta, Bojboj. Okay, ship port that time. So कलकत्ता आ गया. अब क्या हुआ ना, British Indian authorities suspected the passenger as a revolutionary links to Gadar party. That time Gadar party was there in the west coast, Canada and USA. So they thought they were revolutionary people, or they had the revolutionary links. Okay, so they tried to arrest the Baba Gurjit Singh. Classes हुआ, British police opened fire, around 19 to 20 people killed, many arrested, other escaped. So this was the Komagata Maru incident. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया? ठीक है, चलो अब देखते हैं how many days did the Komagata Maru passenger spend on the ship? Total 6 months, 177 days. ठीक है, 2 months in the Canadian soil, okay, another in the journey. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया? चलो, is there any more slide? Yeah. Why it became important? Why? Expose the racial discrimination in the British Empire. अब तो this incident happened, world newspaper covered, the world media covered the news. Okay, deep angered Punjabi migrants, deeply angered Punjabi migrants जो था उसको deeply angered कर दिया in the west coast. Okay, strength revolutionary feeling. अब ये सब discrimination होगा तो revolutionary people will get more emotion there in the activities. Okay, boosted Gadar movement during World War. क्योंकि west coast में this incident happened in the west coast. ठीक है, so that's why this is important. ठीक है, चलो, there is no more slide. So we have discussed Gadar party and Komagata Maru incident. So both are the important topic. अब क्या याद रखना, गदर पार्टी कब स्टार्ट हुआ था? 1913. Where? USA, सैन फ्रांसिस्को. Okay, why? Because racial discrimination was the main reason. ठीक है, leader was Lala Hardayal Singh. Okay, these are the things you have to remember. ठीक है, they attempted the mutiny in the Indian Army during World War I. This is their like achievement, you can say. Okay, what was their ideology? Armed revolution. Okay, secularism was their ideology also. They followed Karl Marx, Lenin and all. ठीक है, Komagata Maru incident, a ship's incident. The ship was not allowed to the passengers were not allowed to step down in the Canadian soil. Okay, so the ship stood for 2 months in the Canadian sea. ठीक है, under the influence of British. Then that ship returned to Kolkata and clashes with people and 20 people died. Okay, this is the incident. ठीक है, चलो, so see you in the next video. In the next video we'll be discussing about home rule movement, 1916 वाला home rule movement. 1916 में home rule movement आया था. Okay, बाल गंगाधर तिलक and Annie Besant were the real leader of that home rule movement in India. Okay, so we'll be discussing about that. ठीक है, see you in the next video.